you doing? Diana Simplifies here. It's time for Motivation Monday. So, I have something very special planned for you. I've been working on it for days. Let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm doing a little, we'll call it a YouTube hack that I got from Katherine on Do It on a Dime. And halfway through this video, or maybe 3/4 through the video, I changed course. But at the beginning of the video, you're going to see that I'm going to do it Katherine's way, and we're going to work on the bathroom floor tile grout. And what we're going to do, we're going to do it Katherine's way, and for the most part, and we're going to do baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. And then she uses a broom, and she uses a Dollar Tree broom. It's a very soft broom. I went and looked at it. I decided I didn't think it was worth, me personally, I didn't think it was worth the $1.25. She says she has great luck with it. I just didn't want something that soft. But I did end up using a soft toothbrush, like this. Very soft bristle toothbrush, and it did actually work. So her broom probably would have worked, but I'm using this toothbrush and it's working while I buy something else. Okay, so now, fast forward a little bit, I'm going to break into the video and I'm going to tell you what I decided to change about this, because I'll just go ahead and give you a little heads up. The baking soda makes this very, very, very messy, and you're going to see that in the video. So I'm not going to belabor this point. I'm just telling you where I got the hack from. I've been wanting to get this grout cleaned. I'm looking for the easiest, fastest way possible. Katherine said she did a very large bathroom in 15 minutes. I'll just tell you, it's taking me a lot longer than that. We won't go into that. When I break back in, I'll explain to you what I think about that. But anyway, let's get into the video. Like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome to my YouTube family if you're new here. And let's go ahead and get into the cleaning portion of the video. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, here's the portion of the floor. It's pretty obvious. It needs to be cleaned. And then as we go over this way, you can see this part looks a lot better. So this is the part that I've already cleaned, and then you can see that's getting dirty again over there. So I just sort of did this center portion, and it's probably not perfect, but it looks a million times better than it did. So, and then this part's just really filthy as I walk in the door. So yeah, this is what we're going to be working on today. Just wanted to show you that up close. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I put my glove on here. So the first thing Katherine did was she poured a little bit of this. Now, what I did, because it comes out pretty fast, I just sort of spread it along these lines so I wouldn't have tons of it left over. Because the more of this powder you have laying around, the more of a mess you have. Okay, so I've kind of got it spread out here. So this is the area I'll work on first. And my floor definitely slopes. I'm going to try not to pour too much of this out this time. I think I poured way too much. I don't think, I know I did. And it just went everywhere. So, you know, you don't need that much. You just need enough to... Okay, I think I finished this off. Okay, so, and then you just start scrubbing. Now, I'm not scrubbing hard. I'm just moving the stuff along. I am putting a little bit of force, but I mean, I'm not just like bearing down on it. I am letting the cleaner kind of do its work. Okay, I think probably letting it sit helps because this part right here is really coming clean now. It's had a little time to soak in. In fact, she may have said let it sit. Honestly, I can't remember at this point what she said. I do know some of the ones I've seen did say let it sit, so it might be best to let it sit about 5 minutes before you start scrubbing. Like there's something black right there. I'm not sure that black mark right there is going to come up, but if we can just get most of the grout to be on the off-white, I think it used to be light gray, off-white, something like that. You just sort of get it close to the color it used to be instead of ground in dirt color, that would be good. Okay, I really think I'm just gonna let some of this sit for a few minutes and see if it'll lighten up a little bit more. This part must have been dirtier because I feel like I'm having to scrub it more than the other. So let's just let it sit for a while. And what I did when I cleaned it up, you could use a towel. I just used a bunch of paper towels because I didn't want to have to throw something in the washer later. Especially not something with peroxide all over it because that, bleaches everything. So I just use paper towels to wipe it up. You can do it however you want. But I really think I'm just going to let it sit. And then we'll come back and wipe it up. Okay, it's hard to see because there's so much dirt surrounding it, but I did let it sit for a while, and the light's kind of glaring on it, so I'll just try to get closer. It has definitely lightened up, so I think this is the way to go. Just put it on, let it sit for maybe 10-15 minutes, come back to it, then scrub it, learn from my mistakes. You can see those two black areas where something has been, I don't know, spilled or dropped or something. That is not coming up, but the rest of it really looks good. So you can see comparatively right there where I haven't gone. There's one area I haven't done it, and then over here I have done it, and you can see it does look better. So you can kind of get an idea what we're talking about here. I'm going to clean this up, but I'm actually just going to let it sit here a little bit longer, or maybe work on it a little bit more, and then clean it up. Okay, I'm back. I let this sit far too long. Ranger's been walking through it. He's terrified. We're having a storm. So anyway, I dampened some paper towels because it had all dried, so I'm just gonna wipe it up. I decided to let it sit and have a little lunch. I don't really think it'll hurt it to sit here. It's just making it probably a little bit more messy than it would have been. I don't know, it was messy the last time. Not sure it's any worse this time. She mentioned just like sweeping it up, but I don't know. I'm not much of a broom person. That probably would be a good idea, I guess. I don't know. I could have tried it. So the good news is it did get really clean after I just let it sit. It's coming a flood here, in case you're wondering what all that noise is. But I think definitely just let it sit. Don't try to scrub it when you first do it. I'm not really sure why I even did that. The first time I must have let it, I think I must have let it sit for a while because I just don't remember, even though it was only a few days ago. I don't remember how I did it. But yeah, I would just let it sit for a while and let it do its thing, because that definitely helped a lot. All right, let's do take 2. I went ahead and I put the powder on, the baking powder on, what is it? Y'all, I'm losing it. Baking soda. I put the baking soda on off the camera just because I feel like when I'm doing stuff on camera, I'm having a hard time doing it and talking and whatever. So now I'm hopefully going to be able to pour this. I'm going to try to just pour a little bit because like I said, the floor slopes, so let's just do a little at a time. This time I'm going to let it sit because I feel like a lot of the spaces that I barely scrubbed because I left it, I ended up leaving it. I feel like those came clean. So let's just let it sit this time. It's a learning experience for me. Let's just put it that way, because probably should have watched her video more than once so I could see exactly what did she say. But if we can maybe scrub none or less, that would be good, right? And I'm just really curious now if it really needs to be. Now see, that's all running that way. So I don't even have to pour it down there because it's happily running down there because of the floor sloping. So I probably don't need it very much right here because it will probably run. I did stop before it got to the edge. I just did it right here. You could kind of see where I put the powder. But let's just see what it'll do if I don't scrub it, because I'm all about not killing ourselves. Okay, this is where it gets out of control, and I don't really want all that pooling right there. And I actually didn't put the stuff this far. I'll just have it sit there like that. I just happen to have a bunch of old paper towels sitting right here. Okay, I'm just gonna let it sit there. Okay, I think I wet all of it so that I got to at this point. So let's just see how it goes, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna let it sit maybe 10 minutes and just see how it goes. Okay, it's been sitting for several minutes. I actually didn't time it, but one interesting thing happened. Not sure how well you can see, but right here is where a lot of that ended up pooling. I don't know that you can see it from there, but it cleaned it up really well, and I don't think any of the baking soda was, but I don't remember if it's baking soda or baking powder. Any of the baking soda actually got here, but just the fact that the peroxide just sort of pooled here, and then I stuck a paper towel on it, seemed to lighten it. So that's interesting. Just that in itself was interesting. It lightened the others, but this one was the most. So I started wiping some of it away. Yeah, so I didn't scrub any of this. It did lighten it up. Yeah, and some dirt is definitely, you can, well, I don't know if you can see, but I can see where some dirt is definitely coming off of here. Fascinating. So that's without scrubbing it. It is getting clean. It's not going to be as clean as that over there where I scrubbed it. So I do think it needs to be scrubbed. So let me get the toothbrush and I'll scrub a little bit of this. Okay. Well, let me get some paper towels and wipe some of that up, see what it looks like. Oops. I feel like my towel has changed color too. I guess the towel must have been dirtier than I realized. I was looking up to see if baking soda or if peroxide would lighten the towels, and it says it wouldn't, but I feel like the towels are a lot lighter than they were when I started, so I don't know. I feel like they're less peach and more white now, but I mean, that's fine. But I don't want to ruin somebody else's tiles if I'm doing this, you know, if I'm doing this in somebody's house, I don't want to ruin their tiles. It just seems like my tiles are now a different color. But the floor's been down here for years. Maybe this is the color it's supposed to be. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know anymore. Katherine made it sound super easy to clean up. I don't find it that easy to clean up, but I'm not doing it exactly the way she said to do it either. So maybe it's easier the way she does it. I think she said she just swept all that powder up, but I would say, considering I barely scrubbed this part, now like this, I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, this part I didn't really put any product on, so it's darker. You can see this part's lighter and this part's darker. Same over here, this was lighter, this was darker. This didn't really have product on it, same right here. And this didn't really, I think this just had a little bit of peroxide and it turned a little bit lighter. Yeah, so I think for the rest of the bathroom, what I'm going to do is what I just showed you. I'm going to put the powder down, put the peroxide on top of it, and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. Scrub it just a little, and then wipe it up and see what we have. Okay, one more quick look. I've been working on this a little bit more. I got all the way to the door. You can still see a dirty spot right there. But I got a lot done, and what I did this time, from learning from this video, there's a little bit of dirt right there too as well. I haven't quite gotten it all done, but I got a lot done, and I also, it's wet because I wiped all of it up, so it's less gritty now. I'm sure it'll have to be gone over again, but what I learned from all this was to put the two products down and let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then start scrubbing. And that way you're not scrubbing as much, you're not hurting yourself, you're not bent over for, you know, a long time. Now, where she's getting that she did a big bathroom in 15 minutes, I have no idea because, you know, it took me more than 15 minutes to do one small area. So I'm not sure where she's getting that from. She probably is not waiting for hers to get this dirty. She's probably waiting till it's a little bit dirty and then doing it, which would be optimal. Hey guys, I'm going to break into the middle of my video to tell you something that I have discovered. I started this last weekend or Monday. I cannot remember which. Then I started actually filming on Wednesday. And on Wednesday I talked about I had done part of the floor. And today I'm going to do some more of it. It's very slow going. I had listened to Katherine. Katherine had, from Do It On Dime, had said, oh, I did my whole floor in 15 minutes. Y'all, this has been so many sections of 15 minutes. I don't know how she possibly could have done it in 15 minutes. And I'm not saying she's a liar. Maybe her floor wasn't that dirty. She probably keeps up with it and doesn't wait, you know, like I don't enjoy doing it because when I do this, it turns out super messy. So I'm going to tell you what I figured out in the meantime. In the middle of all this, that baking soda is so hard to get up. So, you know, she made it sound like, oh, you just vacuum it, or she didn't even vacuum it. I just swept it up. It was just so easy. No, it isn't. It's a mess. And again, I'm not saying she's a liar. Clearly, things work better for her than they do for me. But what I'm saying to you is, when I've ever done this type of floor grout before, every time I use something gritty, and I would use something like Comet. I don't know that I've ever tried baking soda. Baking soda, I would say, is just as good as using Comet or some other brand. Probably a little bit better. It's easier on the breathing for sure. But anytime I've done this project, it's been super messy, super gritty. The grit gets stuck in the grout. And so whatever you're using, so whether it be baking soda or maybe you've tried borax, I can't breathe in borax. I'm like allergic to it. So not a good idea for me to be breathing in borax, but I know some people probably use that. But whatever gritty substance you've used before, it gets in there and it just keeps coming out. Like, you can't seem to get rid of it. I have vacuumed it. I have mopped it. I have wiped it down with paper towels. I've vacuumed it some more. I have mopped it some more. I think I've mopped it twice. I vacuumed it 2 or 3 times, which may not sound like much, but okay, so you vacuum it, you mop it. I think I mopped it twice. You think you're good, which I know I wouldn't because I've dealt with this before, but you think you're good, and then you start walking on it, and it's all gritty and like spotty. Like, the floor doesn't even look good. Yes, the grout looks nice. It's clean for a change. The floor looks super clean, but you're walking in all this stuff, and I don't know. It's irritating to me personally. Now, if it doesn't bother you, great, go for it. But I decided to try something different. So I think I may have shown this. I think I showed at some point just putting some of this down on the grout, and then soaking paper towels and soaking them and putting them right on the grout. And so I tried that again today because I thought that had worked. You know, it was Wednesday. Now we're on Friday. I'm pretty sure some of that had worked. And I know by looking at it, it worked. But I didn't realize I did have to scrub it. So I tried that again today. I got one whole area, poured some peroxide on it. And then I got the paper towels, poured some on the paper towels, stuck it down in there. So it was just sitting there for probably about 30 minutes. I just let it sit there, found something to do, let it sit, see if it would do anything. I picked it up, didn't look a whole lot better. Got my this is my soft toothbrush. You can see it's all messed up. Got my soft toothbrush, started working it, and I was like, oh, it's coming clean, it's coming clean. And also, Melinda from Melinda Plain and Simple and I had been talking, and I found out also in the meantime, she was Googling, I was Googling, we're trying to figure out how to get this baking soda up because it's a mess. It is a royal mess. And if you've got tips, please leave them in the comments because I'm dying to hear them, because I've still got a mess in there I need to clean up because I can't get it to clean up. It just won't go away. But this is just dishwashing liquid. Bob Vila, in his recipe, I looked up, I was like, let's look at Bob Vila's recipe. He uses baking soda peroxide, still messy with the baking soda, and dish soap. So I said, okay, the peroxide is getting it cleaner. It's definitely looking cleaner. I think when it dries, it's going to look just as clean probably. But just in case, I'm going to put a little dishwashing liquid into the little cracks and crevice as well, and just do a little extra scrub with this. And that also is getting it cleaner. So I feel like using one of these products or both of these products together and leaving out the baking soda might be the easiest way. So I think for me, from now on, I'm gonna make a note to myself somewhere. Don't put the baking soda down. Just don't even start with the baking soda. Just try these 2 products. And actually, I got a different brush. I haven't started using it yet, but this is a very, very soft brush. If you just get a grout brush, it's much harder and firmer. And I got a different brush. It's not actually a grout brush, but it feels about the same. And I could have tried that. So yeah, I still have more to do. I'm still not finished. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of break in here and mention that. And this may be at the end, I don't know. But just to let you know that this baking soda caused me personally a huge mess. And I don't wish that on anybody. So, Katherine made it sound like it was super easy you just broom, sweep it right up. And I think that is probably true to a certain extent, but it seems like it's still trapped there in the grout and it's still coming out. And anyway, so for me, I'm just not going to keep using that. And I've used Comet in the past. I'm not going to use Comet because it was the same thing with that. It was still gritty and funky and yucky. So I think I'm going to stick with these 2 products. and just call it good, because I feel like it's just as good, and I'll show you a clip of it as well. Thanks for listening. Okay guys, this is where this morning I did the peroxide only, and then when I finished the peroxide, I decided to use just a little bit of dishwashing liquid with the brush, just like I showed you. First, I put the paper towel down with the peroxide on it, then I let that sit for about 30 minutes, and then I picked it up, and then I used the little brush I showed you, just a very soft toothbrush, cleaned it up, and then I thought, I wonder if just a little bit of dish soap would help, and I think it did clean it up just a little bit more, but you can see it looks pretty good. Maybe not 100% perfect, but I feel like it's not all white and blotchy like the baking soda, which I'm going to show you how white and blotchy it is. And then over here, you can see that this was what it looked like before I worked on it. So you can see they're right next to each other. Right there, you can see exactly where I left off with the peroxide. So I just want to show you this up close to show you the peroxide does work. You do have to use the brush on it, but you have to use the brush on the other too. So you're basically just leaving out the baking soda because it's so messy. Okay, this is the part that I did with the baking soda, and can you see all that white there? Like it's almost like it's stained white. Like you're not trying to get it white, you're trying to get it the color of the grout, which I think mine is kind of a light gray. It might be an off-white, I'm not sure. But the peroxide didn't do that. So let me pull you back here, because I did the peroxide right here. My hair's falling out everywhere. Okay, right there, I did the peroxide, and you can see it doesn't have that white mark in it. But as you go up here, I did use the baking soda, and you can see that white. That's another part of this I don't like. Not just that it's so messy, but also it's leaving these white spots. So really, I'm probably going to end up going over all of this just with peroxide, honestly. Peroxide and paper towels. Although, I mean, right now it looks fine. I probably won't spend a lot more time. I don't think I've done this part. I've done maybe a little here, but it's still dark, you can see. Anyway, I just wanted you to see the difference. See that real white part right there? Yeah, I really don't like the way that looks, actually. Although it does look a million times better than the dirt did. Okay, I'm finally finished. I hope that you got some value out of this content, and if you did, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any tips on dealing with grout in the bathroom, the kitchen, wherever you have grout, please leave me comments. I'm dying to hear. I have cleaned houses for a long time, but honestly, I've never known the best, easiest, fastest way to deal with floor grout ever. I've tried working on it before. I just have never found the best way. I feel like this hydrogen peroxide and then adding a little dish soap to that, I really feel like letting all that just soak in and just doing a little scrubbing, that was the best way. I hope you got that far in the video, and you didn't. If you bumped out, you missed that part. But that was, I felt like, the best, fastest, easiest way to do it. So hope you watched that part. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye bye guys. See you next time.